Imagine standing on the deck of a mighty warship, feeling unstoppable, as you sail into a narrow river in a foreign land. You're part of the world's most feared army, the Mongols, and you believe victory is inevitable. But beneath the murky waves, hundreds of deadly wooden stakes wait silently, ready to turn your unstoppable fleet into a graveyard. This is the story of the Battle of Bach Dang, a masterpiece of strategy, bravery, and the unwavering spirit of Vietnam. A story where a small nation, using cunning and intimate knowledge of their homeland, defeated the most powerful military force the world had ever known. Today, we dive deep into this legendary battle, uncovering every twist, every brilliant tactic, and every heart-pounding moment. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire swept across the world like a violent storm. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his descendants, they conquered vast lands from China to Eastern Europe, leaving terrified kingdoms in their wake. Their armies were unstoppable. Expert horse archers, lightning-fast cavalry, and psychological warfare tactics that terrified even the strongest opponents. After solidifying control over China, Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, turned his attention southward. His next targets? The resilient kingdoms of Southeast Asia, including Jai Viet, known today as Vietnam. For Kublai Khan, Jai Viet was a small but strategically crucial piece in his plan to dominate the entire region. However, the Vietnamese were no strangers to invasions. Over centuries, they had perfected the art of resilience, guerrilla warfare, and psychological tactics to defend their homeland. In 1257, the first Mongol invasion was repelled. In 1285, the second attempt was also thwarted. But Kublai Khan refused to give up. His pride was wounded, and his empire's reputation was at stake. He prepared an even larger, more powerful invasion force for 1287. The third invasion, Battle on Bach Dang River. Kublai Khan sent a massive fleet of around 500 warships and tens of thousands of seasoned soldiers, led by the experienced General Tran and naval commander Omar. Their plan was to crush Jai Viet quickly, install a puppet ruler, and ensure total Mongol dominance in Southeast Asia. The Mongol forces were confident. They had the strongest cavalry, advanced siege tactics, and naval experience from campaigns against Japan and Korea. But what they didn't fully understand was the unique geography of Vietnam and the genius of one man, Tran Hung Dao. Tran Hung Dao was more than just a military leader. He was a strategist, a patriot, and a symbol of Vietnamese resistance. He understood that an open-field battle against the Mongols was suicide. Instead, he used a strategy of gradual retreat, burning crops, evacuating cities, what's known as the scorched earth tactic. This frustrated the Mongols, stretched their supply lines, and weakened their morale. As the Mongols advanced deeper into Vietnamese territory, their supply ships became vulnerable. Tran Hung Dao orchestrated attacks on these ships, cutting off food and equipment, forcing the invaders to rely on plundering local resources. The Mongols, unfamiliar with the humid, harsh terrain and constant hit-and-run attacks, grew desperate. Yet they continued to push forward, determined to find and destroy the Vietnamese forces. While the Mongols struggled inland, Tran Hung Dao devised a brilliant trap on the Bach Dang River, a narrow, winding waterway that connected to the sea. He knew the tides here like the back of his hand. At high tide, large ships could sail up the river freely. At low tide, the riverbed would reveal sharp rocks and mud, making navigation almost impossible. Tran Hung Dao ordered thousands of giant wooden stakes to be planted into the riverbed, each tipped with iron to pierce through ship hulls. These stakes were placed carefully to remain hidden during high tide. The plan was simple but daring. Lure the Mongol fleet deep into the river during high tide. Once inside, wait for the tide to fall, trapping the ships on the stakes. Then, launch a full-scale attack from both sides, destroying the immobilized invaders. This was not just a military tactic. It was a psychological game. The Vietnamese pretended to retreat, making the Mongols believe they had gained the upper hand. Meanwhile, scouts monitored every movement, every tide, every wind change, ensuring perfect timing. Villagers nearby prepared supplies, while soldiers rehearsed the ambush day and night. It was a massive coordinated effort, uniting an entire nation against a common enemy. In early April 1288, everything was set. The Mongol fleet, frustrated and starving, saw the seemingly open river as their way to escape and regroup. Vietnamese forces appeared to flee upriver, baiting the Mongols further inside. As the fleet moved forward, the high tide hid the stakes perfectly. Mongol commanders believed they were pushing their enemies into a corner. The arrogance and overconfidence of the invaders played directly into Tran Hung Dao's hands. Then, at the crucial moment, the tide began to fall. One by one, the wooden stakes emerged from the muddy water, slicing through the bottoms of the heavy warships. Crews panicked as their ships became stuck or pierced. Soldiers jumped overboard, only to drown in the swift currents or get impaled on the stakes. The Mongol fleet turned into a chaotic mess of broken wood, screams, and burning ships. At that precise moment, Vietnamese forces hidden along both riverbanks launched a devastating attack. Fire arrows rained down, small, agile boats swarmed the trapped ships, and soldiers stormed the river from all sides. The narrow river turned into a flaming slaughterhouse. Mongol generals tried to rally their troops, but it was too late. Ships were burning, sinking, or stuck helplessly on stakes. Soldiers had nowhere to run. The once mighty Mongol navy was completely annihilated. Less than a handful escaped back to China to tell the horrifying tale. The news of the devastating loss at Bach Dang shocked the Mongol Empire. Kublai Khan was furious and humiliated. After 3 failed invasions, he finally abandoned his plans to conquer Jai Viet. Tran Hung Dao and his soldiers returned as heroes. The battle became a symbol of Vietnam's determination and ingenuity. It inspired future generations to stand up against foreign invaders, no matter how powerful. The stakes used in the battle have been preserved and displayed in museums, serving as chilling reminders of the genius behind the victory. Culturally, the Battle of Bach Dang has been immortalized in poems, folk songs, and festivals. Every year, people gather to honor the spirits of the soldiers and celebrate the triumph of intelligence over brute force. In military history, Bach Dang stands alongside other legendary ambushes like the Trojan Horse or Hannibal's encirclement at Cannae. But what makes Bach Dang unique is its perfect use of natural geography, precise timing, and national unity. Today, Bach Dang is more than just a battle site. It represents the spirit of resistance, national pride, and strategic brilliance. In modern Vietnam, Tran Hung Dao is venerated as one of the country's greatest heroes. Statues of him stand proudly in major cities. Streets and schools bear his name, ensuring that his legacy lives on in everyday life. For military strategists around the world, the Battle of Bach Dang is studied as a classic example of asymmetrical warfare. How a smaller, weaker force can use the environment and psychological tactics to overcome a vastly stronger enemy. beyond its military lessons. The battle teaches us the value of courage, unity, and thinking beyond conventional limits. It shows that even in the darkest times, creativity and national spirit can lead to miraculous victories. What do you think makes a battle truly legendary? Is it the number of soldiers, the strategy, or the spirit of the people fighting? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Share this story if it inspired you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join us on more journeys into the world's greatest historical battles and hidden legends. Remember, sometimes the greatest weapon is not a sword or a shield, but the mind and heart united as one. Thank you for watching.